something big. Yeah, I'm fish on. Wait a minute. Is that a... Yeah. That's a buck knife. It's my personal best. Man, ain't that good looking knife. What's going on, everyone? It's OT, the Lord of Knives, and this here is the Buck 104 Compadre, straight out of Idaho, USA. And I believe that this is the most underrated fixed blade on the market. People just ain't talking about it as much as they should. But today I'm going to shine the spotlight on it, and hopefully you guys like it just as much as me. And if you do like it, don't forget to stab that like button, reverse grip, and then shank that subscription. All right, let's do it. So let's get right into these specs for the Buck 104 Compadre. The overall length is 9.5 inches. The blade length is 4.5 inches. The blade thickness is 0.16 inch. The handle thickness is 0.66 inch. It is a full tang design, so it is quite durable. It weighs in at 7.1 ounces. And the handle length is 5 inches. And it fits my large hands pretty snug, but if you wear anything larger than large size gloves, then it might feel a little small for you. It has a lanyard hole, and the handle material is burlap micarta. It also has some pretty solid jimping in the back. The blade is coated with a Cerakote cobalt coating for added durability and corrosion resistance. The grind is a hollow grind, and the blade shape is a drop point blade, and the blade material is 5160 spring steel. The ergonomics for this knife are not going to blow you away by any means. I'm not saying that it has a bad handle shape or it has bad ergonomics. There's no hot spots on the knife. I do like the fact that there's a bit of a finger guard, and the fit and finish is great. Overall, the ergonomics are not bad, but they're not amazing, so I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. But one thing I did find was the burlap micarta did feel a bit slippy. As you can see, I dropped it while I was chopping some hardwood. And as I was chopping this hardwood, I feel like this knife was underperforming. For a full tang knife that's over 7 ounces, I thought it would chop wood more efficiently. And there are two reasons why that is so. The first reason is that the hollow grind on this knife is really thin behind the edge and is not very good for chopping when compared to something like a flat grind or a Scandi grind. And the second reason is that a lot of the weight of this knife is in the handle, so it's just not hitting the wood with as much as force as you would think. I must have chopped at this 4-inch piece of hardwood for like 4 or 5 minutes, and I barely made a dent in it. So I was batoning maybe a 4.25 inch piece of hardwood with a 4.5 inch blade, which is asking a bit much, but I always felt like a full tang knife invites hard use. Although I got through the hardwood and I batoned with the Compadre the whole weekend, I again felt like it underperformed. The 0.16 inch blade thickness just doesn't split wood very easily, and the very acute blade tip was really chewing up the piece of wood I was using to strike the knife with. But I was really impressed with the 5160 spring steel. After a weekend of hard use, the 5160 spring steel was still hair shaving sharp, with no delaminations or damage to the edge whatsoever. So when I was doing the tip test, I was a bit nervous because the tip is very acute and I didn't want me to snap the tip off the very first time I brought the knife to the wild, but it performed rather well and the tip held up firm. The Compadre performs pretty well when feather sticking because of how thin the knife is behind the edge. It really bit into the stick quite easily. The 4.5-inch blade length allowed for really good control of the knife. I really only feather stick when I'm making these knife videos, and this is not my best work, but the Compadre did pretty well. So Buck Knives did a really nice job with the sheath. It looks really nice and feels really nice. It has the Made in USA stamp right there with the 104 right under it. It's made out of mostly just one piece of leather, and then there's another piece of leather for the belt loop and a nylon strap. We also have a brand new Buck button, which I think looks really good as well. And overall, I am pleased with the sheath. This is how it looks on the hip. It's mostly for right-handed people. I mean, you can use it on your left, but that would be weird. So yeah, mostly just for right-handed people. So as I was reviewing this knife, I realized that it's not that it's underrated. It's just the knife community understands that this knife is not very versatile, even though it leads you to believe that it is. The solid weight and the full tang makes you think that this knife is like some sort of beast and it can do a lot of the heavy work. But the blade length and how thin the knife is behind the edge, that hollow grind is really thin. It just can't excel at the heavy duty tasks. Yes, it can baton, it can't really chop, but it's more suited for light duty bushcraft tasks like cutting paracord or packaging or feather sticking or just general cutting tasks you can do around the camp. But it is not like a heavy duty beast of a knife. If you were looking for a knife that is versatile in the same size range, I would suggest the Gerber Strong Arm. Although it's like the same size and I feel like it's right near the same weight of it, the blade thickness and the tip thickness allows you to do much more heavy duty tasks. So it's not a big problem for me because when I'm camping, I like to bring my big old machete and the folding saw, and I let these two do all the heavy lifting. So my belt knife can just focus on the light bushcraft tasks, which is fine, and this knife does fine at those tasks. It's quite heavy. The burlap micarta is a little bit slippy in my opinion, and I think it's a fine knife. I do enjoy using it. I don't think it's better than the all-time classic Buck 119, which is probably my favorite belt knife. But yeah, I do enjoy using the Buck 104 Compadre, and I still think it's a good knife. If you guys think it's a good knife, comment down below. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me if you think it can do the hard work. Tell me if you think it's just not a good knife. Let's talk knives. But remember folks, you can't turn a hoe into a house knife. I'm OT, the Lord of Knives. Stay sharp.